Invisible signals from space quietly guide our daily lives, shaping the way we move, connect, and interact with the world. Whether you're navigating busy city streets, finding the fastest route to work, or simply searching for a new restaurant, these signals are working behind the scenes to make it all possible. Most of us don't even realize how much we rely on them, but they are there every step of the way, seamlessly integrated into our routines. Beyond personal navigation, satellites track global shipping routes, monitor the movement of cargo across oceans, and even help financial markets process transactions in real time. They play a crucial role in agriculture, allowing farmers to plant and harvest with precision, and in logistics, ensuring that goods reach their destinations efficiently. All of this is made possible by global navigation satellite systems, most famously the American GPS, but also Russia's GLONASS, Europe's Galileo, and China's Beidou. These constellations of satellites orbit high above Earth, sending signals that receivers in our devices use to pinpoint our exact location anywhere on the planet. GPS is so deeply embedded in our daily routines that we rarely stop to notice it. It's become as essential as electricity or running water, powering everything from ride-sharing apps to fitness trackers, and even helping utilities manage power grids. But this incredible convenience hides a critical vulnerability. The same system that helps a delivery driver find your home or a drone fly a precise route can also guide a missile to its target. Our dependence on satellite navigation means that any disruption could have far-reaching consequences, both for civilians and for national security. For decades, the United States has maintained control over GPS, giving it immense global leverage and influence. This control extends not just to navigation, but to the very infrastructure that underpins modern society. Many nations worry about what would happen if access to these signals were suddenly cut off during a crisis or conflict. The possibility of a satellite signal blackout is a real concern for governments, businesses, and individuals alike. Today, military operations, border security, emergency medical responses, and disaster relief efforts all depend on uninterrupted satellite navigation. Losing access could mean delays, confusion, or even loss of life in critical situations. The risk of being digitally blinded has pushed countries to develop their own satellite systems and backup technologies. Engineers and scientists are working tirelessly to create alternatives that can keep their nations connected and secure, no matter what happens. This quest for independence is fueling a new era of global competition, not just for technological advancement, but for security, sovereignty, and control over the invisible infrastructure that guides our world. The stage is set for a high-stakes contest in the skies above, a race that will shape the future of navigation, security, and global power for generations to come. Iran's 2025 switch from GPS to China's Beidou wasn't just a technical upgrade. It was a bold, calculated political move that sent shockwaves through the global tech landscape. This decision marked a turning point, signaling Iran's willingness to break away from Western-controlled systems and embrace a new era of digital sovereignty. For years, US sanctions had made GPS a strategic liability for Tehran, a digital leash that could be yanked at any moment, threatening everything from navigation to national security. Iranian leaders saw the risks of relying on a system ultimately controlled by Washington, especially as tensions escalated and the threat of technological isolation loomed larger. By adopting Beidou, Iran wasn't just choosing a new navigation system, it was declaring digital independence and signaling a much deeper alliance with China. This move opened the door to broader cooperation in technology, trade, and even military strategy, as both nations sought to counterbalance Western influence. The shift required a massive overhaul of hardware and software across the country. Iranian engineers worked side by side with Chinese experts, retrofitting everything from smartphones to military equipment. China provided not just the technology, but also training, investment, and political backing, eager to cement its role as a global tech leader. For Beijing, bringing Iran into its technological orbit was a major win. It expanded Beidou's reach and legitimacy, showing the world that China's systems could rival and even replace those of the United States. This partnership also gave China a strategic foothold in the Middle East, further tilting the balance of power. For Washington, Iran's pivot was a direct challenge to American tech dominance. It raised urgent questions about the future of US influence as more countries consider alternatives to American technology and the global digital order begins to fracture. Iran's move demonstrates that credible alternatives to US technology now exist for those willing to make the leap. It's a message to other nations. Digital independence is possible, and the days of Western monopoly are fading. The world is rapidly fragmenting into rival digital blocs, each with its own standards, alliances, and ambitions. Iran's pivot is a clear sign of this new order, where technology is as much about power and politics as it is about progress. The era of a single, unified global digital infrastructure is ending. In its place, a patchwork of competing systems is emerging, reshaping the future of connectivity, security, and global influence. Iran's switch to Beidou was felt most by ordinary people. Suddenly, ride-sharing apps glitched, drivers got lost, and city traffic worsened. Delivery services struggled, with packages delayed and businesses losing money. Many devices built for GPS couldn't adapt, leaving those with older tech behind. The digital divide deepened, especially for those unable to afford upgrades. Over time, software updates and public campaigns eased the chaos, but the lesson was clear. Major tech shifts have real human costs, disrupting daily life in ways that can't be ignored. Strategic decisions at the top ripple down to every street corner. The price of digital sovereignty is paid by millions in their everyday routines. For Iran's military, switching to Beidou wasn't just a technological upgrade, it was a matter of national survival. In a world where digital infrastructure can be weaponized, relying on foreign navigation systems left Iran vulnerable to disruption or manipulation at critical moments. Every missile, drone, and warship in Iran's arsenal had to be painstakingly recalibrated to work with the new Beidou system. This was no small feat. It required months of technical adjustments, software rewrites, and rigorous testing to ensure that every piece of equipment could operate seamlessly under the new regime. The stakes were high. A single miscalculation could mean a lost drone, a misfired missile, or a failed mission. To minimize risks, Iranian and Chinese engineers worked shoulder to shoulder, sharing expertise and troubleshooting problems in real time, forging a new era of military cooperation. The payoff was enormous. For the first time, Iran gained full control over its military navigation, free from the threat of US interference or sudden signal denial. This autonomy has become a cornerstone of Iran's defense strategy. With Beidou's encrypted messaging, Iranian forces can now communicate securely, even in the most remote or electronically jammed environments. This secure line of communication is a game-changer for command and control during conflict. This technological leap has dramatically boosted Iran's military resilience. It also complicates the strategic calculations of rivals like the US and Israel, who must now contend with an adversary less susceptible to digital disruption. For Iran's adversaries, electronic warfare and intelligence gathering just became far more challenging. The ability to jam or intercept communications is no longer a given, forcing a rethink of established tactics. The strategic map of the Middle East is being redrawn, not just on paper but in cyberspace and the skies above. Control over digital navigation is now as important as control over territory. Iran's military is now anchored to a different digital compass, one that points toward greater independence and self-reliance in the face of external pressure. The balance of power in the Middle East is shifting, not with tanks or troops, but with satellites and the invisible networks that guide them. The race for digital supremacy is underway. In this new era, independence in the digital realm is just as vital as dominance on the battlefield. Cybersecurity, satellite control, and digital infrastructure are now pillars of national defense. The sky above, once a silent expanse, has become the new front line, a domain where the next battles for security and sovereignty will be fought. GPS and Beidou are more than just navigation tools. They're instruments of global influence. GPS, born from US military needs, remains under American control, with the power to deny access if needed. Beidou, built by China, was designed to break that monopoly and offer partners like Iran a reliable alternative. Beidou's two-way communication and regional accuracy make it attractive, especially in Asia. China markets Beidou as a collaborative project, offering technical support and integration to its allies. For many countries, the appeal isn't just technical, it's political assurance. The sky is now a contested space, with rival constellations vying for users and influence. Choosing a navigation system is choosing a side in a global contest. The era of a single dominant system is over. The battle for the heavens is reshaping alliances on Earth. The race isn't just between GPS and Beidou. Other powers are building their own systems. Russia's GLONASS and the EU's Galileo offer alternatives, each reflecting different philosophies and governance. Galileo, under civilian control, promises neutrality and reliability, appealing to those wary of military-run systems. India's NaviSea and Japan's QZSS serve regional needs, showing even US allies want autonomy. These systems are creating digital alliances, with countries choosing based on politics and strategy. Pakistan and many Belt and Road nations are integrating Beidou, forming new technological blocks. The choice of navigation system now shapes economic and political ties. The world is dividing into constellations of influence. Satellites are the new signposts of global power. Iran's Beidou adoption is part of a new great game, this time for digital sovereignty. Control over data and infrastructure is now as crucial as territory once was. The technology a nation adopts defines its alliances and vulnerabilities. Relying on GPS ties you to the US. Choosing Beidou draws you into China's orbit. Competing tech ecosystems are fragmenting the global market, raising costs and complicating trade. The struggle for digital sovereignty is a struggle for power and security. Nations want leverage over their own digital futures, not dependence on foreign systems. As critical infrastructure goes digital, the stakes only rise. The choice of satellite system is now a defining act of national strategy. The future will be shaped by these invisible lines in the sky. Competing navigation systems are drawing new, invisible borders across the world. Your device's connection to GPS, Beidou, or NaviSea can place you in a different digital sphere than your neighbor. These digital borders reinforce spheres of influence, especially as more countries adopt Beidou through China's Belt and Road. Military planning is now more complex, with adversaries operating on separate digital maps. Even daily life is affected. Apps, cars, and devices may not work seamlessly across these new boundaries. Digital friction could slow trade and travel, reversing some benefits of globalization. The world is being divided not just by geography, but by the satellites we trust. The lines in the sky are becoming real divisions on the ground. Technology is quietly redrawing the map. Iran's switch to Beidou marks the end of a unified digital era. For decades, American technology created a seamless, globalized world. Now, rival powers are building their own digital fortresses, from navigation to AI and telecom. These new digital walls are ideological as well as technical, reflecting different values and controls. Nations must now choose which digital bloc to join, each with its own trade-offs. The dream of a single open digital commons is fading. Cooperation on global challenges will be harder as platforms and standards diverge. Iran's journey is a signpost. The digital world is splitting, and the new borders are written in code and satellites.